Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
I'm Elliot Kalin. That's my name.
And primarily, the Flophouse is a podcast where we watch a bad movie and then we talk about it. Mm-hmm. But every other week, we bring you these slightly shorter, often almost as long, mini episodes, which are more freeform. We get to do what we want to do. And this week was my turn to head up this mini.
Okay.
And a little backstory. So here in the I was gonna say here in the U.S., but here in the U.S. we just celebrated New Year's. That is New Year's specific. Here across the world, people celebrated Christmas. I was at home. There's a lot of travel going on, a lot of holiday stuff going on, and I've been sick. More importantly, for a month. I've been sick for a month. You may hear some evidence of that on this podcast. We recorded another episode before this one. I've been writing my cough block pretty hard to try and cut out coughs from the...
Oh, so you're saying you're ill. You're not just sick of the woke agenda.
Stuart, you know that we're all part of the woke agenda. My point is, I've had this, I could get into the ailments, no one cares. I've been feeling lousy, so I was like, what is the lazy man's mini? What can I do to find to have another entity do most of the work for me? And I thought,
lazier than when you just described Enormous Johnson t-shirts to us.
That took a lot of research. I had to search out those t-shirts, come up anyway. So this is I started thinking about those Google Autofill interviews they do with celebrities. Mm-hmm. Now, this, of course, is something that we will not get sued for stealing because this is a podcast and we're not celebrities. So I feel like it's different enough that I can borrow and see. Let's see.
I don't really even know what you're talking about. Tell me about it.
Okay, well, it's like... Let's say it's Hugh Grant. A lot of the best ones have Hugh Grant, and they
star of the Dungeons and Dragons movie,
yeah,
or Wonka,
Lair of the White Worm, the trilogy, Wonka, Dungeons and Dragons, Lair of the White Worm. Yeah,
I was trying to keep it to things that they might have done one of these for, but you type into Google like does Hugh Grant. I was trying to remember who we were talking about. Does Hugh
Grant feet?
And then Google will supply frequently asked questions, like based on other people. It will suggest they'll try and predict what question you were going to ask about Hugh Grant.
Yeah, if it was my phone, it would be like, how much protein in a Hugh Grant?
Exactly. Stuart knows exactly. So I did this for us. And so I'm going to ask you guys some questions. And bear in mind that we are not celebrities. We are, at best, notable internet.
Yeah, we're like internet
personalities.
Can we be internet micro celebrities, or is that a different?
Sorry, what?
Internet micro celebrities. Is that us, or is that something else?
I think we're even microer than that. I think we're internet nano celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So because of that, these autofill things might be a little more bizarre in general.
Cool. Why not?
Let's find out. You're the lazy man. This is your mini.
I'm going to ask Elliot first off for a question. Is Elliot Kalin still alive?
It doesn't feel like it a lot of days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is life really?
Technically.
Yeah, exactly.
In a spiritual sense.
Yeah, in the George Harrison sense. Yeah, sure.
Okay, interesting. It's good to know. I'm glad to hear that you're still with us, Elliot.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Stuart. Is Stuart Wellington still alive?
I think so. Yeah. I mean,
did you check your pulse?
I mean, I haven't checked my pulse in a while, and I don't know.
But you do every morning when you wake up, right?
No, if you mean by checking my pulse, do I roll over and look at my phone? Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming I'm alive. There's a chance that there's a chance this is a simulation, right?
There is a chance that this is a simulation, but
there's a chance if
that's true,
I'm just sitting on a chair at the end of Brazil.
I think that You're still counted as alive.
But also nothing changes if it's a simulation. You would still be as a let's say as a self-aware thing. But if what I'm programmed to just think I'm self-aware, then you know what?
Then you're basically alive at that point. Yeah. I remember when I was a teenager and I was taking LSD, and I remember I made the decision.
Oh, where did you take it to? To the police? You said, I found this at the bus stop, and I want you to take it, sir.
I certainly should.
I'm afraid of what it might do to me.
So after a long night of playing Killer Instinct, and I was playing Killer Instinct and watching Yahoo Serious movies, I made the decision to drive home. Reckless Kelly and
there's only
I think
two,
Young
really,
Einstein.
Dan.
So you watched both of it.
And I made the decision to drive home, and I'm like, I'm probably fine. I was totally not fine because every time I turned a corner, I'm like, what if I died back there and I'm the ghost of Stuart driving his car? Well, so that's what I'm saying. The long story short, I wish I was back in that basement playing Killer Instinct.
Long story short, this could all be a Twilight Zone episode, and you're going to realize.
Yeah, this is an occurrence in the basement
Mirror, right?
playing Killer Instinct by Ambrose Bierce.
We should TM this shit so that Black Mirror doesn't steal it, because this is good.
Okay, so moving back to the questions, we'll go back to Elliot. Here's a question.
Sure, yeah.
Is Elliot Kalin married?
Yes, Elliot Kalin is married. I've been married since 2010, and I continue to be and will remain so. Very happily.
Okay. I think
so stop hitting on me, Google.
I think we have evidence of that because we were both at your wedding. So your story checks out.
We watched Piranha 3D, right?
Yeah. I mean, not at the wedding. It was earlier that day. Yeah, sure.
We watched Elliot clutch a chair, panicking as he was buffeted around.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, Stuart, is Stuart Wellington married?
I am. That is a fact. Since 2011, in fact. I got married in Rincon, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And my wife and I own a couple of bars.
It was a great wedding. We were also there.
Yeah, we were also there.
You were both there.
Didn't watch Piranha 3D. That was the wedding where the so much beer was poured into the pool at the hotel that the image at the bottom of the pool was no longer visible at the end of the weekend.
Oh dear.
Cloudy with beer.
It does not sound right. Okay, well let's move on to here's a question.
Technically.
When will Elliot, now this is what I put in, when will Elliot, then Google. When will Elliot
die?
Well, close. When will Elliot Kalin be released?
Ooh.
I can only assume it's asking when will I be released from the demands of my children, which are the prison I'm currently currently encased in.
And can I add a prison of your own device?
Very much a prison of my own make. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we try to procreate. Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Like, I get it. Like, Dan's always complaining. He doesn't like wearing Jimmy hats.
That's
just doesn't feel as good. And I get it, man.
Constantly complaining about.
Just like the Katie Lang song, Constant Complaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's one for Elliot. For Elliot. Sorry, this one goes to Stuart.
Okay.
The Stuart's kind of the Elliot of the podcast. I understand. That makes
sense. Does Stuart Wellington still exist?
Oh, shit. Oh, my
I guess
God.
we were talking about that earlier.
That sounds like the type of shit that my brother would say to me when he's like trying to make me feel bad. Like, I get it. Like, I exist. I don't have to confirm.
I like that. So this is how not famous we are, is that Google is struggling to even confirm that we are things
Dan's
that
computer
exist in the
started smoking while he was typing this shit in.
Some question prompts came up with nothing. So
wow.
I had to really dig down.
Yeah, juice the numbers. I'm glad we're doing a normal ass menu today.
Yeah.
And not a silly buns one.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 2024. Let's give ourselves a treat.
Yeah, this is this is our first episode in the new year.
All those people who read Linda Holmes' very nice list are jumping on.
Yeah, this is what they're trying.
Like,
So this is what Linda Holmes likes to listen to. She's got to release a new article. I disavow what I said. That is not the kind of thing I like to listen to from them.
Dragging their Linda Holmes bookmark to the trash.
No.
Okay. Well,
it's a physical bookmark, but it's enormous. That's why you have to drag it.
Here's an interesting autofill question. Google obviously was learning something by this point, and
like a raptor.
And the question is, what can Stuart Wellington do for Elliot?
Okay.
Well, that's actually pretty interesting. So once upon a time, I did provide a service for Elliot When we would record, I would walk Elliot home, and I would be the like thuggish bodyguard because Elliot would dress nice because he was working at the Daily Show. I dressed terribly, and we would walk along. What was that? Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah, Atlantic Avenue in the dead of night. Yeah,
dead of night. All loopy from recording. I was probably like 6 beers deep.
Mm-hmm. I was full of chicken.
Ellie was full of chicken, and I would walk him home, and we'd, share a chaste kiss on the cheek, and then I would go home with memories of podcasting.
And my wife Danielle was always very happy that she'd be like, Stuart's going to walk you home again tonight, right? Like she was very worried about me. So,
oh, that's sweet.
We almost never encountered another human being on those walks.
It's kind of wild. It was like those old cartoons with like the big dog Spike, and then the little dog that is more fun.
More fun. I don't know. He's kind of irritating.
Yeah, that means fun.
What are you saying about Elliot, dude?
Well, here's an interesting question Google has for Elliot. When will Elliot Kalin go to jail?
I certainly hope the answer is never.
When are they going to capture you for your many crimes?
Well, what crime do you think I would have committed that I would go to jail? And what would my sentence be? What crime do you think I'm likely to commit? And then tell me what crime would be most exciting for me to commit.
Okay.
If it turned out I was a cannibal, that would be pretty exciting.
Whoa.
A crime that involves jail time. Because I'm trying to think of like what I think there are very few crimes that you might plausibly commit knowingly. I think there's a chance that like Con Air style, you're committed for manslaughter. Like, someone like,
he gets in a barroom brawl.
Yeah, I don't know
my
hands are lethal weapons. Exactly. Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like some kind of white collar crime makes the most sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was saying. Like some kind of like maybe tax fraud. But I feel like you
don't have any exciting
accident.
Yeah, he doesn't have any exciting addictions. Like you're not like a gambler.
Yeah, work on that.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll work on some new vices. Yeah, what should I get addicted to? Something that's real expensive, so I have to hide money, right?
Like Bitcoin or some shit, right?
You're addicted to Bitcoin.
Get addicted.
Might as well face it, you're addicted to Bitcoin. Hi, I'm Robert Palmer. I'm here to talk to you about Bitcoin.
You have to have money to buy all your monkey NFTs.
Guys, if you don't even
my apes.
If I get addicted to apes, don't even let me go to jail. Just throw me out of a plane. Or in a volcano or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of jail, Google was also wondering, when does Stuart Wellington get out of jail?
Oh, man. Wow. I don't know. I mean, that's something I got to work through with my therapist.
First, he's got to get into jail. That's the hard part. That's what makes the calculations.
Yeah, you got to break in.
The tattoo on my back of the jail's floor plan is almost done. Once that's done, I'm in there, baby.
Yeah.
I just need to get in there, make sure the warden lets me keep a hand mirror so I can read the map. Otherwise, I'd be fucked.
That was such a fun, dumb show for a little while. And then they're like, oh, fuck it. We didn't have any plan for this show being successful. What do we do now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that nobody noticed the map on his back, like when he was taking a shower or anything like that, or did he have a fake back that he'd wear over his robe?
Well, the map was stylized in a way that, like, I think it was...
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably why I'm assuming a lot of, studios or whatever are requiring you to be able to, like, pitch out a full 6 seasons worth of show.
Yeah.
Because of Prison Break?
Because of Prison Break, yeah.
Like, once they break out, there's really not a show anymore.
What if it turns out that all of Earth is in a giant space prison? Now they've got to break out of that.
I mean, that rules. But it's, or else you're left with a situation like Yellow Jackets, where the first season's great and then the second season's like, what?
Still haven't watched it. I want to watch it.
The second season's okay, but it certainly does not have the same excitement that the first season has, because it's a lot of like filling in gaps and things like that. I think.
Yeah.
There's no laugh out loud moment like there's no book club.
Oh,
the single best joke of a television show.
Okay,
but you do get an Elijah Wood musical number, right?
That's true.
So we're closing in on the end of the first half of this episode before the commercials.
I apologize, anyone trying this show for the first time.
Why?
Yeah, this is good ass shit.
Keeping it. This is all.
Oh, you're right. We
gold.
got to fake it till we make it, guys. You're welcome to everyone listening to the show for the first time.
Be the great podcast that you want in the world.
Mm-hmm. I hate to bring us down, but remember, this is not me. It's Google. Google wants to know, how will Elliot Kalin die?
Oh, so earlier when I guessed that was something that I think it's
World wants
likely
to
to be
know.
a combination of one of three things: either heart trouble from all the fatty food that I eat,
Okay.
or perhaps it'll be like of old age, you know, or it will be
Well, like too much old age makeup, like in
yeah, exactly.
Maestro,
I'll
and your
suffocate
body
under
just
all that,
collapses.
or I'll put too much
Yeah.
glue on my face to make my skin look wrinkly, and it'll
Yeah, it'll be like Goldfinger. Your skin will suffocate, which is a thing that doesn't actually happen.
Sounds cool to me.
I saw it in a movie once. I think it was called Goldfinger. And or I will probably the most likely of these is that I'll probably die stopping a dinosaur from eating the newly risen Messiah, so that sacrificing myself so that all of humanity can live in a world of bliss.
sounds
The
pretty
dinosaurs
good.
will, of course, have come back before then as either you
Right,
know,
because the dinosaur Messiah brought them back.
exactly. The dinosaur Messiah came because dinosaurs came first. The dinosaur Messiah comes first. Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Time is cyclical.
Stuart, you would listen to the hell out of a band called Dinosaur Messiah, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got one more before our ad break, and that is this. So
I mean,
we found out.
actually, to be answered, according to the questions you're listening to, I'll probably die in jail, right?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll
well,
be saving the Messiah from a dinosaur in jail.
Uh-huh.
We found out how Elliot Kalin will die. Google wants to know, how will Stuart Wellington be executed?
Oh, wow. I was gonna
Wow.
say,
You don't get a natural death,
Executed.
apparently.
No,
probably a karate accident.
Yeah,
That's not really an
karate
execution.
accident.
An execution?
I assume that you're going to. It'll be like a Last Starfighter type scenario where you're so good at playing Warhammer that that the aliens who are living in a real Warhammer world take you up, but you're not really. Your
No.
skills from playing Warhammer don't translate to the battlefield.
Don't translate into actual battles. Yeah.
Yeah, and a
That's
Primarch
like
probably cuts your head off. Yeah.
Whoa, a Primarch does? An honorable death. That's like my buddy Steve Kostansky, friend of the podcast, made that, what is it, that ABC's of Death bit where W is for wish, where the kids are like playing with their He-Mans and they're like, oh, awesome, I wish we had this for real. And they're in the real He-Man universe and it sucks.
That sounds good. I got to check that out. Okay, well, this podcast has sponsors.
Yeah.
And one of them,
It had sponsors until they listened to the episode.
and one of them is Lumi Labs Microdose Gummies.
Perfect.
Perfect for thinking up a mini concept.
I am starting to think that Lumi Labs was more involved with this mini than I originally thought.
Microdose gummies deliver perfect entry-level doses of THC that help you feel just the right amount of good. Elliot, in the current situation in Dan McCoy's body, I don't need Lumi Labs. Everything is falling apart. I have a natural high, which is oxygen not getting to my brain because my bronchial tubes are choked off. But in happier times, let me share my personal experience with Lumi Labs gummies. In happier times, I would find that they help me relax, help me with creativity, help me sort of unwind at the end of the day. If any of that sounds like stuff that you might be interested in, you could get 30% off your first order plus free shipping today at microdose.com with the promo code FLOP. Available nationwide. That is microdose.com. Promo code FLOP for 30% off and free shipping. Microdose.com. Promo code FLOP. Elliot, I believe you have a few things to say.
I
at this
do.
point.
There's some. Yeah, thank you. I do. There's some Flophouse stuff to promote. If you're enjoying this episode, and why wouldn't you? And you want a little bit more Flophouse today, and it's the day that this episode is released, Saturday, January 6th. You are in good luck because tonight, the night this episode is released, is the final episode of the season 1 of Flop TV. That is our online broadcast live 1 hour show where it's like a TV version of the Flophouse. Tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about Nuki, The second
Yeah.
worst movie I've ever seen.
What?
It is recently has become relatively famous online, but it is a movie that I've been talking about for a decade, I think now. And oh boy, is it bad. Dan Stewart have not seen it before. We're going to talk about it. That's tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Just go to
And I don't want to call the presentation I did for the show my magnum opus, but I've been just told that legally I have to. It's my magnum opus.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Wow. That's theflophouse.simpletix.com to buy tickets. Let's say you can't make it to watch it tonight live. That's okay. The video will be up pretty much the next morning to watch it. And if your ticket gets you access to that video, if you buy a season pass, then you get access to the videos of all of the episodes we've done. This has been a great 6-episode Flop TV season. I had a great time with it. The audience reaction has been really positive. I love seeing Dan and Stu do their presentations. Last episode, Stuart did a how to throw a party presentation. That
An X
was
versus Summer themed party, I think.
yeah, that was as imaginative as it was hard to parse exactly what the thinking was behind it. And so I can't wait for Dan's tonight. That's theflophouse.simpletix.com. Tonight is our Nuki episode live. Can't watch it live. That's okay. You can pick the recording. Or if you haven't seen the episodes, get the season pass. You can watch all those recordings until the end of January. At the end of January, we're going to take those videos down and we're going to recharge for a future season of Flop TV, probably in like the fall, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there's a reason that television takes time off in the summer. Or
We'll be
If
all
he-
like old with like beards and ponytails and
I mean,
whatnot.
Dan already has
Imagine
a
having
beard.
a beard. Yeah.
Dan's gonna have a beard on his beard. So let's say watching us through your TV screen on your computer is not enough. Well, as you may have heard at the very top of the episode, we're going live. That's right. We are visiting 4 cities at the end of January for a Flophouse live tour. It's the Errors Tour, 2024's most exciting thing. We're going to be in Vancouver on January 24th talking about Cobra with Sylvester Stallone. The movie is with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone will not be there. I don't want you to think we're talking with
Or
Sylvester
Willie.
or Willie show up perhaps. He's done it before on this show. January 25th, we'll be in Portland talking about Cool as Ice. January 26th, we'll be in San Francisco talking about Gigli. And January 28th, we'll be in Los Angeles talking about Spawn, the movie that kicked off the superhero movie craze. And so, what do you say, Dan?
Oh no, I was chuckling because I was remembering. I think on a recent episode of Blank Check, they described John Leguizamo's performance as the most unpleasant performance ever in a film or something like that. And it really, truly is something to witness. So.
Yeah, something not to witness with joy, but, with something. So, again, that's January 24th, January 25th, January 26th, and January 28th. We'll be in 4 different cities. If you want to travel with us like a Grateful Dead fan or something like that in a van, don't travel with us, but you can go to the shows. Our flights are booked. Go to flophousepodcast.com/events for all the information and links to the tickets for those. We hope to see you live at the show.
The following are real reenactments of pretend emergency calls.
911. My husband! It's my husband! Calm down, please. What about your husband? He loads the dishwasher wrong. Please help! Please help me! Where are you now, ma'am? At the kitchen table. I was with my dad. He mispronounces words intentionally.
There are plenty of podcasts on the hunt for justice, but only one podcast has the courage to take on the silly crimes. Judge John Hodgman, the only true crime podcast that won't leave you feeling sad and bad and scared for once. Only on MaximumFun.org.
Hi, this is Lori Kilmartin.
And I'm Jackie Cation, and we have a podcast called The Jackie and Laurie Show on Max Fun, and it's very exciting because what do we talk about?
Comedy.
Stand-up comedy. We both do stand-up comedy and have since the dawn of
Well,
Christ.
Jackie,
Is that offensive?
it is offensive to me because you've aged me. We started in the late 80s, and we're still here. You can't kill us.
So go to The Jackie and Laurie Show on Max Fun and listen to that.
The Jackie and Laurie Show. New episodes Monday, only on MaximumFun.org.
So let's go back into the mini. Of course, there's one member of the Flophouse who has not been addressed so far, and his name
Hallie.
is me, Dan McCoy.
Oh, Dan, right,
Uh,
Dan.
and if you recall the point of this whole endeavor was
It's like a get to know you thing, right?
well, there's that, but also I was
I don't. What was there a point to
Sick.
be lazy?
and tired, and I'm also sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Beat us to the joke.
So these are
We got Dave Barry here with us. What's this
these are
all
going
about?
to be autofill questions about Dan McCoy, but you are required to answer these questions about me. That's the
All right.
Okay, to
interesting.
extend the laziness even further and to create a challenge for all of us. You
Okay.
have to answer these questions. So the first one here is Dan McCoy still alive?
I mean, that's fucking questionable based on.
Wow.
Yeah, based on what we've been hearing. Yeah.
Stuart had a face on him originally where he's like, yeah, I got this one. I know for certain, but now he seems a little... Okay, well, I guess the answer is
I think
TBD.
Dan's still alive. I mean, he's clinging on there, but you know
Yeah.
what? He's tough. I feel like if you had to talk about the Flophouse members, you would say Dan is the toughest member of the Flophouse. He handles
yeah.
adversity the best.
He rolls with the
Never a
punches.
complaint. If there's any sort of discomfort or inconvenience or a mere change of plan,
Yeah, the consummate professional. Ready for anything. Smooth as ice and cool as a cucumber. Yeah.
But the clock
sounds
said
delicious.
3:04 a minute ago. Now it says 3:05. I don't know if I like this.
Hold on. Let me talk about it for a while.
Yeah.
Dan,
I knew-
it's
no,
good. It's good to roast you when you're sick because you're too sick to get really mad.
Look, I came up with many. I was aware that there would be a certain amount of roasting involved in this last section.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, next question.
It's cold
Google,
out there. He wants a little bit of heat. Might
Yeah.
as well get roasted.
Google wants to know: is Dan McCoy a real person?
Well, I think that's a good point because I think sometimes people on the internet confuse you for being different, like that the podcast persona and your real persona get muddied a little bit
Yeah.
because I think we, for instance, we give you shit on the podcast and in real life, and I think sometimes people on the internet are like, that gives me leeway to give Dan shit, and you cannot do that.
No,
You're
don't do
allowed
that.
to.
Don't do
you
that
are
at
not
all.
allowed to do
I mean,
that.
once you've established a rapport with me,
Which is, it takes some time.
takes a little time.
Takes time.
I
You have
will
to give him
gladly
treats.
accept your. Yeah,
Not the
that's
most
right.
welcoming. Very wary. Yeah.
You have to,
Eventually,
you have
show
to
up
let
day after
Dan sniff
day.
your hand to make sure you're not a
Eventually,
threat.
I'll eat them right out of your hand.
Yeah, the best way to approach Dan is to kneel to be at his level. Don't look him in the eyes. He considers that a challenge. Scratch him, let him sniff your hand and then scratch him under the chin, not on the top of the head.
where I can see.
And
Yeah.
when Dan makes a show of dominance, you cannot run away. If you run away, you are going to be devoured.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
The only
true.
thing to do if Dan makes a show of dominance, which in his case is sighing particularly loudly, is the only thing you can do is roll over and pee on yourself just to show him that you're not a threat and that you understand he's the alpha. Yeah.
Now, here's a question Google was wondering about that I honestly am a little scared about what you're going to say in response to this. And here it is. Does Dan McCoy work? Does Dan McCoy work?
Well, so I mean,
Pick your words.
The thing is,
Choose your words carefully.
there's how do we define work?
Yeah, is it an exchange
Webster
for
defines work.
of goods or services for money? Because I think that I do qualify. In that.
Are we saying does he do an occupation, or are we saying does he function?
Now, is work spelled with a O or an E?
Just to know this time.
Well, Elliot, he has been your employee before.
It's true. Well, I mean,
Yes. I
worked
didn't employ
under
him. I
him.
I guess
supervised him.
he's
Yeah.
been your direct report, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I will say that Dan often worked. Not always as much as I wanted him to, but certainly
Maybe
more
sometimes
than,
that was
more than
true
you
of
wanted.
the entire staff of the Daily Show.
well, that was going
let's
to
be
say
fair.
certainly more than other people who were also on
Yes.
the staff. Yeah.
And as my tenure extended there, the number of people who worked less than me grew, and my importance to the show arguably grew along with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would
Anyway.
say, does Dan work? He works hard.
Of course.
He works hard for the money, so you better treat him right.
thank you.
And pay him money, to be honest. He works hard for the money, so you should pay him.
Everyone should
Yeah.
be paid.
Just
Well,
put
this is-
$2 in an envelope, $2 cash, and mail it to Dan McCoy, care of Brooklyn, New York, USA.
You want
up all
to
night.
probably get-
just drop your address again?
If you want to support me and the show, do it through Maximum Fun. But here we go. Here's an interesting question. Google seems to have some sort of apprehension about me that may or may not be true. It says, "Who will Dan McCoy play next?"
Oh, well, it knows you were an actor. You were in a college production of Hair. Was that it?
Yeah, it's college production.
Sure. I was in a lot of school productions. I
Yeah.
have a couple of IMDb acting credits.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You played Santa Claus once on The Daily Show, right?
That's true.
So, Elliot, throw out some roles that you think Dan would be perfect for.
Yeah.
So clearly, the first role that comes to mind is, of course, Malvolio. I think Dan would make a great Malvolio for sure.
I can see that. Yeah. Obsessed with like my stockings.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what his deal was?
I could also see Dan as kind of like a sophisticated devil in a smoking jacket who is tricking somebody in a
Yeah.
I think you're just looking at my
perhaps?
beard, but
It is mostly these are beard based roles. That's
I feel
true.
like if Dan put a little bit of gray in his hair and beard, he could pull off. I think he could be a good King Lear. But maybe I'm just trying to get him nude and smearing like ashes and mud all over his naked body.
Oh, he would do great with that. He would do great with that.
that sounds like a spa day.
But I
Sounds
think
nice.
also if maybe Dan stretch a little to Blanche Dubois. Maybe it's time for you to play a part
Could
like
be.
that. You know, there's a certain vulnerability I think you can project.
Yeah, I've been resting on my laurels acting wise for too long.
Now here the way I took the question was,
I feel like some roles that like some classic Michael Douglas roles Dan could pull off.
oh yeah, falling down fits Dan like a glove.
falling
for sure.
falling
yeah.
down.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Disclosure.
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, Fatal
No.
Attraction. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Any Basic Instinct. Anytime Michael.
It was fun to rewatch Fatal Attraction recently and be like, they're how much younger than me?
Oh God.
But also, I took that not just as what role will Dan be playing, but you said who will Dan be playing next, right?
Yes.
Dan is a consummate con man who's always on the make and always on the job. Who's he
Yeah,
going to
sure.
be playing next? We won't know until they report to the newspapers that a devilish, a devilish, handsome and
Raconteur, yeah.
charismatic nobleman convinced him to transfer all his money to an account at the Bank of Gazovia for some made-up foreign kingdom. Yeah.
We're
You
gonna get
weren't-
angry emails from Gazovia saying they're not made up.
You didn't suspect something when he showed up in a horse-drawn carriage?
Then immediately complained that he had to use the bathroom and ran into a building.
Okay, well,
He does look a lot like the fellow I wrongfully imprisoned, but I'll allow it.
speaking of
Count of Dan Te Cristo. Yep.
speaking of imprisonment, here's the next question.
Uh-oh.
When should Dan McCoy get Wellington out of jail? So
I guess
Dan-
you want to let me stew on it. I know what
Yeah.
I did.
Dan, so you're saying all this time you've had the power to get Stewart out of jail
Yeah,
and you have not done it?
apparently.
So with this jail, did you brick him up in your basement?
Well, it says
Is that what
when-
happened?
When should I do it? So I've been waiting for the perfect time
Yes.
when I think
Dan
Stewart has
Venge is a
learned his
dish best
lesson.
served cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he had an entire cask of Amontillado, right?
The whole thing.
I've never
Yeah.
seen that in my life.
I love the idea that I'm sure someone certainly must have done this. That the guy's bricked up in the wall and you just hear him yelling through the wall, but when do I get to see the Amontillado?
It's like, I can't see it's closed. I can't see. It's too dark in
it's
here
so
now.
dark in here. Is the cask here? Let me feel around for it.
Is it on the wall? I'll start licking the wall.
Oh, is this like an escape room?
I think you bricked me up in the wrong room. You meant to brick me up into the room that had the Amontillado in it.
And that's how we, the viewers, are like, I get why he's bricking him up. He's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
annoying. Yeah.
Hello, bricked up here.
I don't know. I don't like how this character's coded now.
Oh, okay, fair.
Well, one. Sorry, go on.
No. So Dan, but let's get back to the main issue, which is that you have imprisoned Stewart and you have the power to let
Well,
him
we
out.
don't know that. We say when should. I mean, maybe
or
I'm
you could
the
have the
governor.
exculpatory evidence
Yeah.
that proves he didn't do it. Yeah. Or you're
Sure.
the governor and you're going to pardon him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was why I've been waiting. I'm waiting to be elected governor,
Yeah,
and it hasn't happened yet.
That's fair. That's your
You got
strategy.
to run for smaller offices first.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
start
that's
on a
how you
city
do it.
council, work your way
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Of course,
Not
by the
just
time you're
write-ins.
governor, you're so busy focused on your presidential campaign that you kind of
That's
keep
the
forgetting
thing.
about Stewart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one last question, all kind of related, and it's how does Dan McCoy get Wellington out?
That's a good question. Now, we've already talked about that cool tattoo I'm getting all over my back of the floor plan of the prison. And you would think that would be enough for me to get out. But they realized that the show needs more seasons. So I'm still stuck in that prison.
Yeah, and Dan, I'm going to assume that is about to sign the papers that are pardoning you when he's immediately arrested and indicted and kicked out of office for some crime on his own. Now he's in the prison with you is the problem.
That's too bad. But I think we work better as a team, like on this podcast.
Of course, the real problem is that when we zoom out and we see who's the warden of the jail, why, it's Elliot Kalin. Uh-oh,
Oh, no.
What game is he playing?
It's like the end
Cliffhanger.
of Duck Amuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, I go, ain't I a stinker? And then we come back in season 2 of Flop Break, to find out what's going to happen next.
Well, I think we've learned a lot of important things about one another today, and it was a great idea that I had.
That was all from Google?
It was all. Yeah, it was Google's idea. So if you didn't like this many, blame Google. Otherwise, if you did like it, why not leave us a review on iTunes?
Positive review.
Positive review. Tell your friends. Don't put more negativity out there. If you don't like it, that's great. That's fine. We don't.
It's not
okay.
great. I mean, I'd like them to like
No,
it.
I want you to want me. But if you don't,
But do you need them to need
move
you?
on. I don't need them to.
Are
need
you
me.
begging
That's the
them to
thing.
beg you?
Well, I could. It depends on, we'll see where where our finances are at the end of the next Flophouse fiscal year. Anyway, if you could help us out, does Dan McCoy work? The answer is yes, but right now this is Dan McCoy's main job. So please, be kind. Also, be kind by looking up Howell Doughty. That's our producer, Alex Smith. See what he does all over the internet. He's got Twitch streams. He's got his own podcast.
I told him not to do it all over the internet. He's got to clean it off now.
He helped us out on our recent holiday Flop Fest Twitch stream we did.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much more professional.
He gave us some important technical advice, and he was off the clock when he did it. Thank you for that help. And thank you to Maximum Fun. Go to MaximumFun.org to check out other great podcasts from the podcasting network that helps bring you us, the Flophouse.
And let's say you have a personal or even corporate message that you would like to associate with this kind of content and material. Go to MaximumFun.com/Jumbotron, and you can rent a little bit of space on the Flophouse for your message on the Flophouse Jumbotron.
Yeah, it might surprise you, but we have a wide reach. So if that's a way that you might want to advertise, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just consider.
Check it out.
Perhaps you've heard of a little thing called Google. You have now, because Dan's been giving it free advertising all episode. Let's talk about this when we're off mic, Dan.
Okay. Well, let's get off mic by closing up shop here.
Yeah,
for
Mike
this
doesn't want
episode.
us on top of him anymore.
Sorry, Mike. For the Flophouse, I've been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
And I'm Google saying, who is Elliot Kalin? Me.
Bye.
Bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.